Hey everybody, Josh Peck here. I've got a very interesting and awesome interview with L.A. Marzulli coming up, but just wanted to jump in real quick first and remind all of you, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel if you're watching for free on YouTube or Rumble. And if on YouTube, make sure you click the bell to turn on all notifications and double check to make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube has been unsubscribing a lot of people from what I've heard. Also, stick around till the end of this interview because I have some more awesome information. So without further ado, here is my interview with L.A. Marzulli. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Sharpening Report. I am your host, Josh Peck. Today we have a very special returning guest, friend of the show, L.A. Marzulli, to talk about his new book, Rungs of Disclosure. L.A., welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, Josh. It's always great to see you. You know, we're good friends and we've known each other for quite some time. And thanks for having me back again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm excited about this book because, man, what a time to be, not only a time to be alive, but what a time for this book specifically to come out with everything that's going on right now, specifically with this new hearing and everything. We might get some more information. Probably we won't get as much as we want, but so with Rungs of Disclosure, is that what caused you to write this book at this time, or were there other reasons as well?
Well, I mean, it all goes back to 2017 with Commander David Fravor on the Tucker Carlson show. And I know, you're a UFO just like I am. So we watch this stuff. This is part of your wheelhouse, part of my wheelhouse. It's everything in the end times. So when 2017 happened on the Tucker Carlson show, this is the first rung on the ladder of disclosure, which is what the book is named. I about fell out of my chair. I mean, I told Peggy, I said, "Oh my gosh, the phone's going to be ringing off the hook. This is it. We finally have some kind of disclosure." And of course, it was flatline. Nothing happened. So for your audience who's been living under a rock or whatever, that's not your audience. They're pretty hip and understand what's going on. So Commander David Favor's on Tucker Carlson's show, and Tucker leads into this interview by saying, UFO used to be the stuff of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theory people, but maybe we shouldn't think so anymore. Commander David Fravor joins us tonight, former F-18 pilot. Commander David Fravor, welcome to the show. This nice little introduction. So Tucker's here, Fravor's in the middle, and over here is real footage that's been released of UFOs. And, the exchange goes back and forth, and it might even be Commander David Favor's first interview. I don't know. I'm not sure of that. But he's not like a seasoned pro on TV. It's not what he does. But he's a stand-up guy, man. This guy's the best of the best of the best. I mean, he is. He's a trained witness. He's an ace pilot. I mean, the guy is, no nonsense. And basically, the end of the interview, Tucker asked him, well, let me prequel that real quickly. Tucker goes, is it any of our adversaries? And Fravor, it's not the Chaikovs, not the Russians, not the North Koreans. Nobody has anything like this. And it says that when this craft moved away from him, it moved away like a bullet out of a gun, 50 miles in 2 seconds. I mean, what are we looking at here? And so Tucker asked him, in your opinion, what was this? And this is why this is the first rung on the ladder of disclosure. And Commander David Fravor goes, whatever this was not from this earth, was not from this earth. And so, this isn't Coast to Coast with George Norrie or Art Bell. And, I've been on George's show a gazillion times, and I respect him. He's a great guy. This is a whole different level. This is mainstream media. This is primetime Tucker Carlson on a Friday night. Give me a flipping break. And from there, it just goes up the rungs. Several weeks later, he has Luis Elizondo on, head of ATIP, Advanced Aeronautical Threat Identification Program. And, Luis Elizondo was talking about we've got retrieved metal. We're testing the metal if it's got isotopic ratios that are not found on this earth. And, of course, I was just on a show right before yours, and someone wrote in, if this is metal, then why does MIT know? It's like, I just saw these people who jump in and think it's a gotcha question. Excuse me. They know about the metal, and this is why Luis Elizondo can say this. We actually got 2 pieces of the wreckage from the Roswell crash in 1947. We had it tested to the best of my ability, best of my knowledge. It doesn't match anything that we have. Now, I wish I had the metal, but I don't. If I had the metal, I'd be doing more testing on it. But Frank Kimbler got 2 pieces of the metal, gave one to Chuck Zukowski. They tested the metal. It's in our film in the debris field, and they said whatever this thing is, we don't have anything like it. So Frank Kibler was on some shows recently talking about the metal. I mean, it's like it's so funny the way everybody's out for their own skin, and that's fine. God bless everybody. But we financed that trip. These guys were great. Frank discovered 2 pieces of the metal. We have it on film, buried about 6 to 8 inches in the debris field, which, by the way, is in the middle of nowhere. So let's circle back. When Luis Elizondo was talking about testing of the metal, or Chris Mellon, former CIA guy, comes on and says, we've tested the metal. It's got isotopic ratios not found on this earth. Jacques Vallée has backed that up. I mean, what do we do with that? And now it's in the halls of Congress. And when David Grush, who's, by the way, that's one of the last rungs on the ladder of disclosure, David Grush states in Congress on the record that we have crashed craft. We've got it in our possession. So, look, folks, this thing goes really deep. In my opinion, it is the coming great deception. These are not space brothers from Epsilon Eridani or Zeta Reticuli. These are entities with a very, very nefarious agenda.
I totally agree. And, when a lot of people think about like the spirit world or, the kingdom of darkness and all of this, they think of more wispy, ghostly things. They're not thinking solid metal UFOs. Because when we find metal, when we find metal like this, when we find these pieces, this means these crafts are manufactured somewhere by some process, by some physical process, because we can actually look at these pieces of metal. We can hold them in our hand. We can analyze them and see what they're made of. So how do we bridge that gap between this idea that everything spiritual is just ghostly and wispy and the idea of physical aliens and physical UAPs or UFOs or whatever they're calling it now? How do we, as Christians, how do we bridge that gap?
Well, I'm actually working on a book. I've got like 7 or 8 chapters written on it. It's called Supernatural Technology in the Bible. And I'll just give you one example. And I think we've talked about this before, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this. So when Adam and Eve get booted out of the garden, the cherubim are sent to guard the east gate. That in itself was a 3-hour conversation, which is so mysterious. We have no idea what we're really looking at. Why not the north, south, and west gates? Why just the east gate?
And when you look back into the original languages, east can also mean like eternal, like eternity, like something outside of time.
And this is what I think it was. I think what they were guarding was some sort of interdimensional entrance to, Eden.
Yeah.
Go figure. I mean, how does that work? I agree with you. It's like, it just blows my mind completely. So the cherubim are there, and in between the cherubim is a flaming sword, which turns every which way. I mean, we're looking at a lightsaber because that's what it is. We are looking at technology. Oh, well, people get all, you tell me what it is. The cherubim aren't wielding this thing. It's technology. I'll just give you one more. When the breastplate of the high priest, it's got the 12 stones in it. All right. In my opinion, and I know other people would disagree, those stones, the Urim and the Thummim, they lit up. Mm-hmm. They lit up. The 12 stones had letters on them. Let's say the letter, and this is in the book. So technology, supernatural technology. So fast forward to modernity. The breastplate of the high priest goes missing. Who knows what happened to it? Nobody knows. So there's a pastor living in Israel who knows an Israeli gemologist. I've interviewed this man. I've talked to him. This is in the book, which may come out in 2025. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. But fascinating book. So he is flown down to South Africa with this Israeli gemologist, this woman. And so now you got the pastor, Israeli gemologist. They get off the plane. They're immediately ushered into a limousine, armed guards. They're brought to this compound. They go into a vault. Armed guards are there. He's presented with a papyrus box. I've got pictures of it. In the papyrus box is a gemstone. They take the gemstone out and they put it in the pastor's hand. The thing lights up, Josh.
Wow.
It lights up.
Wow. Yeah.
They take it from his hands and give it to a non-believer. The stone goes cold. The gemologist from Israel, she won't even touch the thing. So she's looking at this, handling it with gloves on. Inside, and I'll use this because this is a really good example.
Mhm.
Now, this is the coin that's inside a glass box, but this is obviously a construct.
Mhm.
Okay. So she's looking at this thing inside the stone, just the way this coin is, but no one knows how it's done, is the Hebrew letter Bet for
Oh,
Benjamin
wow.
and the head of a wolf and the head of a wolf. So the point I'm trying to make is the breastplate is supernatural technology. It's
Yeah.
supernatural technology. So back on track to your point, the church has this truncated view. It's all demonic delusion. It's all wispy ghost stuff. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's concrete. The breastplate of the high priest is proof of that. The sword that turns every which way is proof of that. The New Jerusalem is proof of that. I mean, this is what we're looking at. This is why the new book, which is coming out in 2025, Supernatural Technology in the Bible. And like I said, I've already got like 7 or 8 chapters written. The Ark of the Covenant. I mean, what the heck is that? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But yeah, they're making this stuff. There's some reasons that I have with it, or there's some ideas I have with it. It goes back into the Book of Enoch when the fallen angels, the Watchers, come down. It's a quid pro quo. They give mankind technology. They show them how to build weapons. I mean, come on. Where's all this coming from?
Yeah, no kidding. Do you think that these things are making these crafts somewhere in the earth or off planet or on the moon, or like where do you think that the base of operations actually is?
Everything that you just said is possible, and I have no idea. Certainly the moon, Mars, underneath the oceans, in another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is what's problematic about the phenomena, because you can't. When Eisenhower meets them, and I believe that happened. The whole Holloman Air Force Base dental nonsense, and I know you know all this because, like me, you travel in this stuff. The quid pro quo happens. The so-called extraterrestrials, demons, fallen angels masquerading as such, is given access to the population. That starts the breeding program. Daniel 2:43. Their seed will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not cleave to them. Bam, here we are. Craft is given to us. Enter Area 51.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Lazar. He's never changed his story. Gary Schultz, who went out to Area 51 before anyone knew about Area 51 and photographed a human pilot alien craft. That's it. Human piloted alien craft over Area 51 at 2:00 in the morning. This shape object. I mean, plain as day, just like this. So something's going on. I don't have all the answers, but nobody does either. And these entities, they lie and do so habitually. Messengers of deception, Jacques Vallée's classic work. So, nobody's got all the answers. I'll reiterate that. I'll state it again. But something is going on, and there's a very dark, nefarious agenda to this phenomenon.
I totally agree. I don't think you get enough credit for this because you've had your finger on this pulse for way before I even got into this. I mean, I remember I wasn't even in ministry yet, and I remember listening to you, and you were saying, even back then you were saying, and this was 12 years ago, even longer than that. And I know you've been talking about this even longer than that, but you would say, guys, there's going to come a day where this stuff is going to come out. There's going to be government officials talking about this. And everyone thought you were crazy. Everyone was like, no way, that's never going to happen. They're never going to admit anything. But here we are. And it hasn't even been that long since you've been talking about that. And this started back in like 2017. So here we are in this age now where it's not full disclosure, but we do have disclosure happening. And we got this new Congress thing coming out soon. So with you being so accurate in your foresight on this, what do you see in the next few years or the next couple of decades? What do you see happening? Do you think that this is going to ramp up, or is it more of a slow drip? And what's the end game of these entities? What are they trying to do?
It's in the book, Rungs of Disclosure. We're going up the ladder. A going up the rungs of this ladder of disclosure. And of course, the top rung is full disclosure. That's when it's going to happen. There's a clip which I show at conferences. It's called "Hello Down There." It was this 2024 Super Bowl ad. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds long. And it's for Squarespace. The last 5 seconds, it says, a website makes it real, Squarespace. It's like, you're spending millions of dollars on this? And what it shows is it shows 4 different locations. An old diner from the 50s, like in Texas, West Texas, or maybe New Mexico, New York City, Paris, France, and Japan someplace. Everybody's on their cell phones. So in Texas, Celebrity Bacon Diet. She's like this, looking at her cell phone. Celebrity Bacon Diet. New York City, the woman's looking, Congress holds first hearing on extraterrestrials. If he kind of scowls at it, flips it, and there's a cat clawing the toilet paper. Then she smiles. And while she smiles like this, right, she's looking down. A UFO like flies way above her, though, like flies over her head. It's just genius. Then it cuts to Paris, France. Everybody's sitting on the lawn in front of the Eiffel Tower, glued to the cell phones. Japan, everybody's glued to the cell phones. So all these saucers are all over the place. No one's looking up. And finally, the alien with an elongated skull, just like this. I love my props. It's just great, right? The alien with the elongated skull, smacks his head in frustration and basically hits a button. And when he hits the button, everyone's cell phone, everyone's tablet, and computer, all of a sudden it reads, hello down there. And you see all these aliens waving. They're the grays. They're all waving to the folks down there. So everyone begins to look up. Let's start with the diner, the old 1950s diner. They're looking out the window. The dog is in the pickup truck, and they see the UFO. And now they're shocked. The woman in New York City, hello down there, she looks up, and it's a look of reverence and awe, in my opinion. Reverence and awe. And everyone is looking up. Mile-wide craft all over the skyline. Cut to Paris, France. Everyone is standing. Cell phones are down. They're all looking up. Mile-wide craft. Japan, craft is going in and out because they're up on a 20-story building, and everyone's now at the windows looking at the UFO. What are they saying? Number one, filmically, and you're a filmmaker like I am, a reluctant filmmaker I am. Thank you very much. I never thought I'd be doing this. Thank you, Richard Shaw. May he rest in peace.
Amen.
And thank you, Gil Zimmerman, for coming alongside and creating the 10-box DVD set on UFOs. But what are they saying is that filmically, it's a global event. It's Texas, New York, Paris, and France. They don't have time to do every city. They can't go to Moscow. They can't go to London. But they're telling us that this is a global event. It's life-changing. And this is where we are. This is the coming great deception. This will change everything on this planet and do so in a second. I want to read you something. This is from a book called Bringers of the Dawn, Teachings from the Pleiadians by Barbara Marciniak. This is what she says. This is channeled information. So she's going into a trance or whatever and allowing this entity to speak through her. And I'm trying to get her on my show. This is the quote that she's writing down. This is not her saying it. This is the entity who calls itself a Pleiadian. We are here. We are the Pleiadians. Humanity is learning a great lesson at this time. The lesson is, of course, to realize your godhood. Stop right there. We are too. God is God. We are made in the image and likeness of God. I will never be God. Thank you very much. This is the same lie that we get back in the garden. God really didn't say that, did he? The snake, right? God really didn't say that. Because you'll be like God when you eat the fruit. Eat the fruit. Go ahead and do it. So, I mean, it's just like, but this is where we are, right? It's the same stupid lie. Yep. Okay, let's continue. If human beings do not change, if they do not make a shift in values and realize that without Earth they could not be here, then Earth, in its love for its own initiation, is reaching for a higher frequency. Will bring about a cleansing that will balance it once again. That's Gaia. And we don't believe in Gaia. This is all this little track that Brad Myers made with our help too, but we distribute them. What is the truth? It's just a great track. So here's the kicker. Again, channeled information. Ready? There is a potential for many people to leave the planet in an afternoon. The people who leave the planet during a time of Earth changes do not fit here any longer, and they are stopping the harmony of Earth. There's the rapture of the church. Yep. So there's a saying I coined. I know you know what it is, and it's this. We go up, they show up.
Yeah.
We go up, they come down. And there it is. I mean, and I got this from Mondo. That's my saying. But then Mondo Gonzalez and Jeff Van Hatten took this and they went, Marzulli's on to something here. Because when Elijah goes up, Elisha, his servant, watches him go up. When Jesus goes up and he ascends where? Into the clouds, the 500 people, and I believe it could be more, who knows how many people are there. They watch him go up. And of course, my cartoon brain, does he look down one last time and kind of wave? Does he flap his arms and go, this is really, I don't want to take away from the holiness of it because it is holiness. But also, and you've heard me talk about this, the sensitive Jesus, after he's risen from the dead and the apostles think he's dead and they're all huddled in some upper room someplace. Oh my God, we're next, we're all going to die. All right. So the sensitive Jesus would do this. Guys, it's Jesus. I'm outside the door. Please don't be alarmed, but I've just risen from the dead. So it's okay. So I'm going to come in now, ready on the count of 3. 1, 2, I'm opening the door. Here I am. That's what the sensitive Jesus would do. He doesn't do that. He pops right through the wall. Ta-da! I mean, they're all freaked out because he's always goofing on them. That's what he does. He's always like bumping up against them. And I mean, that's just so humorous. And they all think it's a ghost. And then, of course, you've heard me say this. He does a total guy thing. Hey, what do you guys got to eat? Like, I'm really hungry. I mean, you can't look, Jesus is fully God and fully man. So the fully God part is he just pops through the wall. But the fully man is, I'm really hungry. What do you guys got to eat? You can't make this stuff up. I just love it. I just love it. So the last one is the 2 witnesses who are killed. Their bodies lay in the streets of Jerusalem 3 days. Then they're resurrected, and everybody watches what? Watches them go up where? Into the clouds. Get this. The Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel. The dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up. That's harpazo. Be caught up. Together with those where? In the clouds. To greet the Lord in the air and evermore be with him. I mean, that in itself is just, I can't wait. Probably, I'm not a date setter, but probably next Wednesday. That's what we're looking at. So we'll see. But, I mean, there it is. There it is. We go up, they come down. We go up, they show up. And I'm not making this up because Barbara Marciniak, and it's in our little track here, LAMarzulli.com, what is the truth? I mean, there it is. They've already explained it away. Yep. They've already explained it away. And I want to say this. Like you, I was in the New Age. And 5 decades, 50 years ago, I heard this exact thing when I was in the New Age. Exactly what Marciniak is saying, that's what I heard 50 years ago. And I didn't know anything about the rapture. I was a heathen. I was not a Christian. I was immersed in New Age. I was with a guru. My third eye was open. I meditated. I had spirit guides, the whole deal. So, we're not making this up.
Yeah, that stuff can be really deceptive. I was in it deep too. Well, I know that you're limited on time, so I want to give you the last word. What do you want most for people to take away from Rungs of Disclosure, and also where can they pick up the book and follow you online?
Well, it's LAMarzulli.com, LAMarzulli.com, YouTube channel. We're all over the internet, and Rachel Tolson is our media director, social media director. She's doing a bang-up job. And Chauncey Green is our webmaster. He's doing an incredible job. I just heard from our publisher, Charisma, that they've sold out of a second printing already.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so now they're into the third printing. And I think with the congressional hearings that are going on and all the interviews I've been doing, this book is timely. Honestly, Josh, I'm not doing it, and you know this. I never signed up for any of this. 44 years ago, when I became a Christian, I had no idea that this is what I'd be doing. I'll be 74 in December. Okay, December 14th. Send birthday cards, please. But I'll be 74 in December, and I've been banging this drum, as you said, for years, decades, really. The first book, Nephilim, came out in 1999. The research goes back my entire life because I was always interested in it. But from a Christian perspective, it really kicked off when I read Dr. I.D.E. Thomas's book, The Omega Conspiracy, which just, that's a game changer. So LAMarzulli.com. This is the coming Great Deception. We are going up the rungs of the ladder of disclosure. I think we're close. I think we're closer than we think. The fact that Congress is talking about it is something, but we'll see where it goes. And in the meantime, the timepiece for all this is Israel and the Middle East. And Israel, I predict that they will do the cleanup effort with Hamas. Hezbollah will probably retreat at some point back to the Litani. Iran will lick its wounds, and then in the spring, all hell will break loose. It's going to get nuts. That's conjecture.
Yeah.
It's not prophecy, it's conjecture. But that's what I think might happen.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing that with us, and for coming on. For coming back on the show to talk about this new book. We're going to have you back on again sometime soon.
Love to, Josh. Great to see you, and I'll see you in Branson.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yep, absolutely. We need to spend some time together.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we certainly will. All right, everybody, that was my interview with L.A. Marzulli. I do have more to talk about because we just recently had the congressional hearing on UAPs, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to go through and break down the whole thing because, actually, frankly, there really wasn't a lot of, there were some interesting things, but there really wasn't a lot that was too much different from the last one. It's kind of a lot of stuff we already know, but some of the questions that were asked were really interesting, and I want to hone in on one specifically and talk about that, but we're going to do that in the members-only section. So if you haven't had a chance to yet, please head on over to dailyrenegade.com and get a membership today. It is only $10 a month or $100 a year, and if you can do it, I suggest getting the $100 a year because it's cheaper in the long run. Essentially, you get 2 months for free doing it that way. So head on over there. You'll get access to this full video as well as everything else that we do. Plus, you'll have access to the community page where we, all of us members of Daily Renegade, fellowship together. It's just a great place to hang out, make some new friends, share some of your ideas and theories. We don't censor over there. So, as long as you're not being a troll, but frankly, we haven't had that problem because trolls are pathetic and they're not going to spend their own money to troll somebody. They'll just do that for free on YouTube. So we haven't had any issues with that. So head on over to dailyrenegade.com. Come be part of the family and you'll get the rest of this video over there. If you're viewing for free on YouTube or Rumble or elsewhere, thank you so much. And until next time, take care and God bless.